Before I start talking about things that are a little bit more upbeat, I wanted to quickly acknowledge what's been going on in Minneapolis and the country as a whole. Firstly, ICE out. Nobody is illegal on stolen land. What Trump and his administration have been doing to immigrants is absolutely abhorrent. I'll be leaving some links in the top of the description box so you can educate yourself and donate if you feel so inclined. Things are scary, but together people are stronger, and I never want anyone to ever feel like they don't have a place here on this channel that's about coming together as a community. So those will be there. Please check them out. These are some amazing organizations that are doing some great work and keeping people safe. Thank you so much. Hi there. Okay, so it's been a month since I posted that last video. A little bit more than a month, actually. I think a month and a few weeks. But let me give an explanation, okay? I posted that like right after the new year, shortly after I went back to school after my break, and then I got sick with the flu for weeks, and then I got better, and then I got sick again. So it's just been a cycle of catching up with school, catching up on not dying, and just being busy in general. So sorry for the long wait, but I am finally here to make a video. My voice probably sounds a little bit raspy though, and that would be because last night I went and saw Conan Gray for his Wishbone World Tour. I had the time of my life. I went with one of my best friends, and I just had so much fun. I got some friendship bracelets. I'm wearing the merch that I got at his Found Heaven tour, and we have a new poster in our background, and I got that at the merch booth, and it was a lot of fun. He put on an amazing show, and all I could think about was Byler and Wilbrand. Wilbrand is literally a Byler variant, by the way, if you don't know what that means. If you know, you know. That last video that I posted, I talked a lot about Byler, and I just talked about Byler. So today I wanted to talk about Stranger Things in general, and what happened, what went wrong, what are we going to do about it now, and the documentary, and just kind of my thoughts on it all and why people are so angry. I guess the first thing I have to do before we actually talk about that is introduce myself. Hi, my name is Beth. I make videos talking about media and music and TV shows, mostly queer media and queer TV shows and queer ships. I mean, that's what I've only done so far, but I'm really looking forward to maybe doing some other stuff, talking about books. I love to read, maybe doing some album reviews if that's something people want to see. I don't know. I hit 100 subscribers after I posted that last video, which is insane. So hi to you all. Really, this channel started as a way for me to just talk about what I like, because I like talking and I like editing videos. I'm an editor. My job is to write stories, so I'm really into that creative space kind of stuff. If you can hear squeaking, it's because I got a chair for Christmas, a new desk chair, and it allows me to sit like crisscross. So it's a little big for my desk, but that's why you'll probably hear that, because I like to... Okay, never doing that again. So hello to everyone that's new. That's what this channel started as. I mean, they're not very organized videos. I kind of just talk about like some key points and hopefully get all of my thoughts out into one space. So that way it doesn't dwell in my brain, and my spam Instagram can stay a spam Instagram just for photos and stuff instead of Instagram stories. Thank you to everyone that watched my last video and left all their comments. I had an amazing time reading them and seeing all the different theories and like reading what everyone else's opinions were. So I'm very excited to talk about this again. I won't lie though, I have been dreading doing this, because to me this is kind of like the end of an era. I feel like I shared in my last video, Stranger Things has been such a huge part of my life. So to talk about it, talk smack about it a little bit is a little painful, but it needs to be done because there were so many problems with Stranger Things' finale and like what the hell happened. So tonight, actually, it's a little bit later. Tonight, we will be talking about the writing, the plot holes, and the documentary. Those are our main three things. So thank you guys for tuning in here. Let's get locked in. The very first thing that I want to talk about is the writing, the dialogue. What the hell happened to our character arcs? Why was Volume 1 so much better than Volume 2 and the finale? Well, there are a few things that we can kind of take into account here. First, let's talk about the dialogue. It felt a lot like a little bit of action would happen, they'd make a plan, and then some more action would happen. I mean, like, genuinely, every now and then there were just like some lines in there that just felt like they were describing what they were doing as they were doing it, which it made it just feel like Disney Channel.
Wham, voila. We've got a beanstalk. It's perfect.
I mean, one of my favorite things about season 1 and 2 was the suspense, the suspenseful music, the gear up to like a jump scare, and just being able to like have to pay attention to the show and make sure that everything that's going on, you're keeping track of it in your head. That's what makes a good sci-fi film, I feel, for me. Something suspenseful. You really having to pay attention, having to put the pieces together. Like, that's one of my favorite things about horror movies or like sci-fi movies, stuff that really needs suspense. With Stranger Things this season, though, I feel like we lost a lot of that. My friend sent me something, and it was about how Netflix is really catering to their phone watchers. And if you don't really know what a phone watcher is, basically it's just someone that puts a TV show on in the background so they can listen to it while they're doing chores like laundry or dishes or something. I mean, I've definitely done that before, but I usually do it with shows that I've seen already so I don't miss anything. But their hopes there is that the retention, like, people continue to watch the video because it'll be on in the background, and then hopefully they'll get attached to the storyline and actually start to pay attention. The problem is you can't really do that with sci-fi and horror, which is what Stranger Things is supposed to be. It just doesn't make sense to do that with that either. I mean, especially in the last season, I feel like it started out that way. One, I don't think Stranger Things would have been as popular as it is. And 2, you lose a lot of the plot. And I think that's also why seasons 1 through 3 were way better, is because like that was less of a thing. I mean, I think that, I think with TV shows, you really should be paying attention to the art that is happening, because again, it's another form of creativity. So dialogue was very choppy. It just felt awkward. I mean, honestly, one of my favorite lines was when they're talking about making a plan and Dustin goes, "It's too big, it's not gonna work." And then Robin's like,
"It's too big, it's not gonna fit."
Steve hears that all the time, and he goes in anyway, don't you, Steve?
What the hell's wrong with you?
But it just felt so, it was funny, but it just felt so out of place. Like, why would, he goes, "What the hell is wrong with you? Like, why would you say that?" I was thinking the same thing. Why would she say that? I mean, it was hilarious. I think I think about it often, but stuff like that. I mean, the coming out scene, all of it was just very like, what are we watching? I thought I was on Netflix, not Disney Channel. I think we lost a lot of character arcs. I mean, in volume 1 of Stranger Things, we see a story start to unfold with Byler. I'm sorry, I have to talk about it, okay? It will be talked about, but I promise we'll talk about other things too. They set up this narrative that something would happen between Will and Mike. I mean, there was weird tension, like there always has been, but this one specific scene where Will is talking to Robin about dating.
So, how did you know that with Vicky, right? How did you know that Vicky wanted to
make out?
To date?
Oh, well, we volunteered together. You know, there were like signals.
Signals?
Yeah, you know, like a brush of the knee, a bump of the elbow, a shared look.
He wants to date someone. He wants to be in a relationship with someone. He doesn't just lust after someone. He loves this person. That is his first love. And then as the story unfolds and we get to volume 2 and the finale, it was just a crush. It was just a crush. He's just my Tammy. It was just a crush. Like, it was never about him. It was always about me. Which, yes, but also, that's not just your crush, baby. Like, that's the love of your life. He's in your life for the rest of your life because you're bonded by such a cruel and horrible experience, as well as, like, your families are intertwined. Like, there's no way you're not gonna love this person. He's just a crush, and he's just my Tammy. Go home. Like, shut up, Mom. Like, shut up. Like, I don't know what we're talking about. You don't know how to write your own character story. Mind you, they literally forgot Will's birthday in season 4. And they're like, that's just a production error. And everyone was like, oh, it's just a production error, okay, expecting to see something really important in season 5 related to that forgetfulness, which if it was just a production error, they could have used that to their advantage and changed their minds when they were writing season 5 to literally make some bullshit up. But it would have been good to see that, because then, you know, you keep the continuity of your own story. But they didn't. It truly was just a production error. Like, they did not mean to use his birthday. But to me, that just shows that you don't care about your own story or your own characters because you forgot the main character's birthday. Okay, bro. Okay. One of the Duffer brothers was married and they got a divorce in the middle of production. She produced one of the best horror trilogies I've ever watched. If you've watched Fear Street, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Fear Street was so good. That era of the summer was one of my favorites ever, okay? I love Fear Street. I love it so much. It had a good storyline, it had good characters, and it was queer. It had a queer main couple that do get their happy ending, which unfortunately you don't see a lot of. And I believe it's Yenia, she was a producer on that TV show, but she also worked in writing without credit for Stranger Things. Now, I guess this is technically just speculation because she's not credited, but I mean, if she's a producer and she's married to another producer, also show writer, also director, I feel like he'd probably want her expertise having such a popular trilogy. So it's heavily speculated, and probably it's true, that she worked on volume 1 before they got a divorce. It would explain a lot. She's an amazing writer. That's why people liked volume 1 so much more, is because she worked on it, and having her expertise on these relationships and these character arcs probably did a lot for the story. I mean, it's unfortunate that we're seeing another case of the wife gets no credit for the art that she produces. I mean, there's countless authors that have done that. I mean, one of the greatest cases of this is The Great Gatsby. Don't even know that guy's name, by the way. I've read The Great Gatsby, and hot take, I did not like it. But his wife is rumored to be the actual author, and that might be fact. If it is, we'll put a thumbs up over here. Editing Beth here. Not completely a fact. He did steal a lot of her short stories and a lot of her work with that, and like a lot of her creativity, but yes, he did write The Great Gatsby, but he did steal other works from his wife. But I don't think she wrote The Great Gatsby, but she probably did. But the answer is yes and no. Like, yes and no, he stole from her, but not specifically The Great Gatsby, but he did steal a lot of work from her. So the answer is kind of. But I mean, it's happened before. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what actually happened. Another thing that most likely contributed to the shitty writing of season 5 and volume 2 and the finale was probably the writer's strike. Unfortunately, during the writer's strike, obviously, you have to lay off some writers, fire some writers, and having less people in the writer's room is never a good idea. I mean, just one person can come up with a monumental idea. Having a strike like that and having to go through getting rid of some people, it's going to make a lot of sense that losing a lot of workers will cause there to be a decline in your art. Them losing writers would make a lot of sense for the decline as well, because, you know, less people to comment on the dialogue, less people to fact check as they go on, with making sure continuity is a thing. I think when I work on a project for my job, because I write for my job, it passes through a ton of people before I get the okay to continue on with what I'm doing. So losing people along that process would be detrimental to what I write. And I think that obviously goes for such a huge project like Stranger Things. Anyways, the writing, of course, was not great. It wasn't great. It wasn't great throughout the entire season, but specifically in the finale, it just didn't deliver. I don't really understand how we could go from volume 1, which was amazing, and honestly, in my personal opinion, they could have ended it at episode 4 and I would have been happy with that as an ending. And then go all the way to the finale and we get whatever this is.
Please don't do this. Please don't do this.
Mike. One of my favorite tweets that came out of that scene is Mike has held a piece of paper more lovingly than Elle, and then someone responded like, yeah, he has, and it's like the painting, which is lovely. Love that. Anyways, dialogue was choppy. It was weird, all over the place. It sounded like Disney. It was so bad that people started to hallucinate a secret episode. Yes, of course, we have to talk about Conformity Gate. I didn't mention it in the intro because I wasn't really sure if I wanted to talk about it at all, because obviously didn't happen. But Conformity Gate, crazy fan theory. It's the theory that there was a secret 9th episode to Stranger Things because the finale just didn't deliver. The idea was that either all of the characters or one of the characters, probably specifically Mike, because he experienced the greatest loss, please don't do this, in the finale, was under Vecna's trance, and everything that we saw as the audience, it wasn't real. So we were in the middle of a dreamscape where nothing that we saw was real, and it was proven by a lot of like smaller errors, like the dial, Mike's basement rug. There were a few other things. I mean, if I can find some pictures or a video, I'll definitely put it in.
Everything you see, none of it is real. Come on, you have to believe me.
That's wrong. It should be yellow.
I don't believe in coincidences. Not anymore.
Mike, are you listening? You don't get to write the ending.
A dark Christmas, though, I would say.
Yeah.
It was just all of those smaller things that they were like, hey, this isn't what it's supposed to be. Like, that's not right. People made edits, people posted videos, people were convinced and sat in front of their screens on the day that it would release, waiting for Netflix to drop the last episode, and it never happened. Of course, Conformity Gate was not real because the ending that we got is the real ending. It is the canon ending to Stranger Things, and it's just bad. It didn't deliver for fans. I mean, it was just a disappointment all around, I think is a good way to phrase it. I mean, I have to say, I think that taking it as it is, it was an okay ending. We'd lost a lot. Like, the way that it ended, I wasn't 100% satisfied. Things were wrong. But, I mean, closing off such a show that, like, living up to such a legacy of a show is hard. But if you care enough, I think you can definitely do it. I think the Duffer Brothers just lost interest. I mean, during their documentary, a lot of that was evident. The documentary. Let's talk about the documentary, of course. I didn't watch the documentary because I didn't care, okay? I was pissed off that it just seemed like rushed. And when I found out that people that did watch the documentary started posting the lines, that the final episode wasn't even completely written when they started filming, I just knew that I was gonna see some bullshit. One thing that I'd also like to add is that they had ChatGPT tabs open on their laptops when they were finishing writing. So it makes sense that dialogue and like repetitiveness and continuity was being lost was evident throughout the finale because they were using AI. I'm a big believer that AI is, well, and this is the truth, that AI is bad for the environment, but two, that AI just isn't great at story writing or being creative unless it comes to you want an AI generated image. I think that's about the slop that you're gonna get. If you make ChatGPT or Google Gemini or any form of AI write something for you or supposed to create something creative, it loses the humanity that art is supposed to have. It loses the spark of someone's own idea coming to life. Art is supposed to imitate life, and ChatGPT isn't alive. It's not a real thing. It's a robot. You're putting in some words to put into a code to generate you some slop. Yeah, some AI slop is what I'd say the finale was full of, because the Duffer Brothers decided to forego the integrity of being writers and creatives and just go for the easiest route because I think they were tired of their own show. In some interviews, they also stated that the ending and some of the character arcs were up to viewer interpretation, which I think is insane. If you have to continuously repeat yourself and give some insight into what a storyline is supposed to mean and kind of give hints and be like, well, yeah, this is what we intended, I think that just means you're a bad writer. And I also think it's unfortunate because the beginning seasons of the show were so amazing and they were written well. And I think the Duffer Brothers are good writers. They just got lazy and they stopped caring, and Stranger Things became less of their passion project and more of a cash grab, which is evident with the new TV show that they're making. I won't be tuning in, but I mean, if I get bored enough and I want a background show, maybe, but I'm not really interested in giving them any more revenue for a TV show that doesn't look that great. I mean, I've seen the trailer. The characters don't look anything like they're supposed to. I mean, there are new characters that we've never seen before that this TV show is supposed to take place between seasons 2 and 3, and that's just not possible. Like, if these main integral characters to the show are in the show and unless they die, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. But whatever. Okay. Like, sure, man, make a TV show. Sounds good. Another thing that I think was an issue with the finale was the fact that the Duffer Brothers wrote an entire Broadway play, and a lot of the plot points and key pieces of Henry Vecna I's background that was included in the Broadway play was not mentioned whatsoever in the finale. I mean, I believe her name is Patty Newby. I haven't seen the play either, but I know vaguely what happens. Like, I know the full storyline. I've just never seen it personally. But Henry's love interest, she plays an incredibly important part to the play and his life in general, but she is never mentioned in the finale, even though we see an amazing performance by Jamie Campbell when he finally has the chance to be good, but obviously he doesn't take that route. We see a little bit of his background, but we don't get his high school experience. Speaking of high school experience, Joyce and Hopper both went to high school with him. And the Duffer Brothers specifically stated when asked why they didn't recognize him, they specifically stated that, they realized that he was their high school classmate off screen. Hey man, so I'm watching your show to see the show. I'm not trying to create some own fanfiction in my head on stuff that you're supposed to deliver to me. If I wanted to write fanfiction, which I do, I'll do it on my own time about stuff that I want to write about because I like to be creative with the stuff that I write. If you don't want to do that, then maybe don't make it part of the show. Maybe don't make it part of the show then. Maybe don't do that. Because why do I have to imagine how it ends? What else final storyline is? She never gets to come full circle. She doesn't get her happy ending because you just didn't know what else to do. I did not think that 11 would die at all because the Duffer Brothers specifically stated that after the first season, she was supposed to die during the first season. In that final episode, she was supposed to die. But they had a good storyline going. They really were hoping that, they could pull the story along and have her in it. And that made me believe that she would be fine. And then they killed her. Oh, but no, she's alive. She gets to see her 3 waterfalls. Okay, well, her 3 AI-generated waterfalls aren't real because that's specifically stated to be just a theory created by Mike. All of that happy ending bullshit is just a theory created by Mike because that's what he chooses to believe. I mean, I guess the unfortunate thing is that we'll never really know what went wrong, but I mean, the few theories that I do have, like the writer's strike, divorce gate, was it administration of Netflix not wanting a good queer story or just wanting it to be out as soon as possible because it took so long? I mean, we'll never really know. I do think it's really disappointing though that we waited so long for the final season and what we got was AI slop pretty much. But I mean, the show's over. What can we do now? I guess my message to fans would be enjoy the show for what it was. but enjoy the creativity that's come out of it. I mean, there's fan fiction, there are edits. I mean, there's always going to be fan art. A fandom never dies, even if the show's over. I mean, it'll have a lull every now and then. I was in the Dream SMP fandom during the 2020-2021 surge, and sometimes I still get videos about like what the fandom used to be like, and I like them, and I think that it's nice to be nostalgic over things. Stranger Things is definitely gonna live on as it was, but it's gonna live on because fans keep it alive. Whether or not the Duffer Brothers gave a fuck about their show at the end shouldn't matter, because we give a fuck. TS, we give a fuck, because Stranger Things was an amazing show. And Owen Cooper, baby, like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry, girl. Like, don't worry. Like, your agent's gonna do their big one. Like, you're the future of Netflix cinema. But for now, I think all we can do is just be thankful for what we had, and thankful for the characters to be introduced to us, because now we can make them our own. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a little shorter, I think. Maybe might be the same length based on how I edit it. But I just feel like my anger is kind of dissipated. I mean, it's been so long since I've finished the finale, and it's been a while since I actually finished that last video and I posted it. But I hope you guys like this anyways. Obviously, I'll be back again with another video. They'll come when they come. I have no upload schedule because this is America and I can do what I want. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you so much for the love on the last video. I mean, it was so much fun to make. I love talking about Stranger Things. I love talking about queer media. I love talking about media in general. So I hope you guys will continue to watch whatever I put out. Thank you, my friends, for watching this. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.